When I was working for George Allen and Unwin, the publishers, one of our authors was Nigel Rees. He was amongst other authors that I had some responsibility for bringing to the attention of the public and booksellers, libraries, etc. Nigel Rees was the deviser and chairman of a very successful BBC programme called Quote Unquote. Basically the format was a kind of pretty literate panel, and there was quotations would be quoted and they had to guess who it was and put their own input in. So it was a very interesting programme. I used to listen to it so when I was actually driving from A to B quite frequently. So it was a very, very successful. I don't know how many years it ran for, but a very, very, very long time. Very long time. Then, around 1978, Granada Television latched onto it and decided that they would make this a visual programme with a panel and a similar format called Cabbages and Kings. And as part of my responsibilities at Allen and Unwin, I duly found myself in Granada Studios for what was the pilot making of this particular programme. The usual Granada format. If you don't know, in fact, they make programmes end to end, so they'll do two episodes at the same time with a break in the middle, as it were. They don't go out at the same time, but it's an efficient way of actually making a series. Well, there we are. I got into the studio when they made the first programme, which was the pilot programme, and what struck me was actually the audience quality. This is not really any detriment to the audience who were there, but it was fairly apparent that most of the people there would not have a clue what this was about. And this proved, in fact, to be true. During the break, outside of the studio, Nigel Rees met me and Peter Cook. First and only time I ever met him. A difficult guy to read, but I'm very certain that he knew exactly what was going on. And I suppose it's just another gig. I don't think it was going to break his heart. But, you know, I've been a jazz musician for a long, long time. And rapport with an audience is very, very important. I mean, it's the catalyst that makes it work, really. And there was no rapport with the audience whatsoever for this pilot programme. They were pretty disenchanted and really, well, certainly Nigel Rees was very vocal about this particular mix that were viewing his creation. We went in for the second half, the second programme, which would be when it was scheduled to be the second programme, and it was much the same. There's no reason to expect anything else. It didn't really surprise me, because at one time I was in and out of Granada fairly often, actually. I had a friend called Dennis Wolfe, the late Dennis Wolfe, who was working there, and I used to pop in quite often to see him there, and also go and see programmes being made. One in particular which Dennis wrote, which was called Can We Get On Now Please? So the audience mix was very typical Granada television, like pension age from the outskirts of what would now be Greater Manchester. They would be bussed in, and there we are. So to expect these people who, without any detriment again, you know, who really were not what you call a literate audience, to understand or even participate in some way in a programme which in fact featured quotations from Shakespeare and Dr. Johnson and et al. You know, I mean, it was absolutely no way. I was very surprised, actually, on looking at a bit of references to this programme, that in fact it actually ran on for several years, and this really did surprise me, because I'm quite sure Granada didn't change the mix. And I did see, in fact, reference to an internal report about the programme that Granada created. They actually presumably commissioned internally a review of it. And they really expected a kind of highly intellectual and literate audience. Why, when you know the kind of people they invited, I really don't know. And the reason why the programme survived, or it seems to have survived, was that it became a very much personality-based programme. I think Robin Ray, who was well-known, a very, very good personality, he eventually came into it. But gradually the kind of format was dumbed down, as it were, over the years, so it became more of a trivia programme than one with high literary ambitions. One must say, of course, that in a way Granada were ahead of the curve, because dumbing down programmes over a period in order to widen the audience appeal, in fact, is now common practice. It still amuses me and alarms me slightly when even a newspaper like The Guardian will warn you that you're about to embark on the big read. Sign of the times, I'm afraid. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please subscribe.